this weekend's forecast is critical. Many people have taken a longer Christmas break to make the most of the fact that Christmas fell midweek, New Year falls midweek, and therefore they don't have to go home and properly start work till Monday. But if they're planning to travel over the weekend, I really do think they need to take care.
Now, the Met Office warnings for snow and ice covering large parts of the UK over the coming days are in place this morning, with falls of up to 30 centimetres forecast on higher ground in Wales and the Pennines. The UK Health Security Agency has also issued amber cold weather health alerts for the whole of England. That's until the 8th of January. Now, warning that the cold snap could put vulnerable people at risk of death. Let's speak to the meteorologist, Joe Wheeler. Morning, Joe.
Good morning to you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Now, as people wake up this morning, as I stepped out this morning, very frosty, but it's more serious in other parts of the country, isn't it?
Well, we've got a bit of a mix. And as you mentioned earlier, a lot of people haven't gone back to work yet. So this is likely to be quite a big travel weekend. And certainly one, therefore, where you want to consider when you're travelling, how you're travelling, and why you're travelling. Obviously, people want to get home, but I would say choose the time of your journey very carefully. You're right, we've got a lot of cold air over us. Last night, it was actually coldest in the south, -7. That's an unconfirmed figure, but certainly many places have been sub-zero. We've already got snow showers over Scotland. We've got a few rain and sleet showers as well, so it's a bit of a wintry mix up there. But this cold air that's across the country, you mentioned the heat alert. So yes, we're in this cold air for a time yet. But anything that moves into that is going to cause a problem. So we've got this system that's coming up from the southwest. Now, this is carrying quite a lot of moisture and it's going to bring some stronger winds as well. And as it moves into our atmosphere, if you like, it's going to run into that cold air. And so what happens in this scenario is that we get some snow on the leading edge, mostly over the higher ground, but to lower levels as well. So as this system moves in, we're looking at snow, which, if it carried on its journey northwards, would eventually turn back to rain, and we'd get these milder conditions coming in behind. That's if it continues its journey. Now, this is going to push its way northwards, and then it's going to retreat east-southeastwards. So that cold air never really goes away. And wherever it arrives on that leading edge, you're going to get the snow. Now, at the moment, it looks as though it's going to be Wales and the Midlands. You mentioned the Welsh Hills, the Welsh Mountains, the Pennines seeing some of the worst snow. And then it pushes its way up towards southern and eastern Scotland before exiting east. And that cold air just comes back again. So for a while, southern parts will become fairly mild, but it will be short-lived. In addition to the sleet and the snow, we're also likely to see something called freezing rain. Now, we don't get this here very often, and it's really nasty, certainly very bad on the roads. It's where the road surface temperatures are 0 or below. The rain comes down and it freezes on impact, causing massively skiddy conditions. So really, we're expecting this first system to arrive late tomorrow afternoon. So anytime after nightfall tomorrow, right the way through into Sunday, those are not going to be good travel conditions wherever you are. You're either going to see some very heavy rain, you could see this freezing rain, you could be seeing sleet, snow, and there'll be strong winds as well, which when you have snow is likely to cause drifting.
And I mean, Handyman R has just got in touch, and something I'd forgotten, of course. Many students are going to be travelling back to university this weekend, as well as people kind of getting back to go to work on Monday. There have been warnings, haven't there, in some parts of the country saying, look, just stay inside, particularly if you're old and you're vulnerable.
Well, this is the first bout of wintry weather we've had. And obviously there are warnings out for ice as well. Forgot to mention that one. All these cold weather conditions bring a similar clutch of warnings. Yes, you don't want to get caught out on a slippy pavement. The last thing you need is a trip to A&E over the weekend. It's going to be busy, whichever way you look at it, because people have left it to the last minute. If everybody gets on the road today, that's going to double the amount of traffic than there would have been right over the weekend if people choose not to travel on Sunday. Just take care. I mean, that's all you can say, really. And yes, it is going to be cold. As you say, in London, -7 last night, but a lot of sunshine and very light winds. It's a beautiful, brisk, fresh day. I mean, the weather is to be adored, but it does bring with it some problems.
Absolutely. Joe, thank you so much. That's meteorologist Joe Wheeler. Wherever you're waking up this morning, be careful. It's cold, it's icy, and it could be a challenging few days ahead of us.
Now, new weather warnings for ice have been issued for parts of the country as the Met Office warns of a chilly weekend ahead. A 3-day snow warning will also come into effect from Saturday. That covers all of England. Let's speak to Joe Wheeler, a weather presenter. Joe, good evening.
Hello there. Yes, it's certainly quite exciting at the moment.
Yes. So tell me whether we've got snow or not. There was some debate when I spoke to one of your very esteemed colleagues, John Hammond, in the weather world. He was unable to sort of completely be confident about it last night. Are we more confident today that snow is on the way?
Yes, I think so. I mean, the issue is we generate very many models, not just us, but different countries. And when they start to align, we start to have high confidence in the forecast. The rain, the snow that's likely in the southwest over the weekend, up until recently, wasn't even recognised by the UK models. They were by the American ones. And then suddenly, yes, this thing's coming. And on its northern edge, it will give some snow. Why so? Well, because we've got cold air across the country now. And so anything that runs into that is likely to fall as snow, even if it's bearing milder air, which this system will be. And so then the interest is in how far north will it go? Because if it only got as far as the Midlands, it would only fall as snow. The mild air would never follow. And then it reverses out. But this looks like it's going to go further north, and this is probably subject to change. At the moment, it looks like it'll reach southern central parts of Scotland, which means milder air will move into the south for a time. And then as that air recedes, the cold air will chase it away. So we'll see snow on the way out as well. So I think this weekend's forecast is critical. Many people have taken a longer Christmas break to make the most of the fact that Christmas fell midweek, New Year falls midweek, and therefore they don't have to go home and properly start work till Monday. But if they're planning to travel over the weekend, I really do think they need to take care. Over the next couple of days, whilst it's just cold, we're looking at widespread ice, obviously a widespread frost. I've just chipped my washing off the washing line because it was like stiff as a board, and that's really early on in the evening. Temperatures are obviously already sub-zero, and looking at the observations, already -6 in some places. So we're looking at a very cold night tonight. Icy stretches. You'll need to de-ice your car first thing in the morning. Watch out for untreated surfaces, and that's the hazard for the next couple of days. But it's as this system comes in, giving some snow, some heavy snow on its northern edge as it travels northwards, potentially seeing milder conditions behind it, but not necessarily. And then this whole thing clearing away southeast, allowing the cold air to come back in. So the back edge of the rain at that point could also turn to snow. It's going to be quite dodgy. And also, there's the risk of freezing rain. Now, that doesn't happen here very often. This is where the road surfaces are sub-zero. You get rain falling, so it just looks like our, communal garden rain, but then it freezes on contact. And there's nothing that gritting or salting can do about
it. So it's different to hail, basically, in that it falls as rain and then freezes as soon as it hits the ground.
Yeah.
Wow. Look, a lot to look out for. The UK Health Security Agency has upgraded their alert from yellow to amber. This is an early warning for healthcare providers, actually. Monitor individuals at risk, check people who are vulnerable to cold-related illnesses, etc. We're going to talk travel later in the show. But for now, not absolutely definite, still a little bit maybe, but it looks like... I'm going to say it looks like snow is on the way, Jo, and hope I'm right.
I think snow is on the way, and I shall be watching it. In fact, I shall be outside. I've got my, furry coat and everything else. I shall be outside, and if there's snow, I'll be here to tell you. It is going to fall in places. It's just a question of where, heavy, and the impact, the time that it arrives. And when people are planning to travel, all warnings are basically subject to impact. And like I say, with a lot of people likely to travel this weekend, the impacts could be quite high. So it is one to watch. It's one to consider. Both my children in Cornwall, they've got to get back. I mean, that's half a world away. So yes, watch out, listen in, and find out what the warnings are and what the advice is. That's the best thing to do.
Jo, always great to speak to you. Thank you very much. Jo Wheeler there, a weather presenter.